T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Hey, everybody, what is up? Happy Thursday. It's another episode of NXT review, recap, after show. And we're a few days before Christmas. You know why we're like wearing red and festive. It's a few days before Christmas, and this will be our as far as the NXT show. This will be our last show until January of 2023, and so we thought it'd be nice to get a little bit festive for you guys for hanging out with us. But anyway, I'm Katrina, creator and host of In Cat We Trust, but also a writer and host for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And I am joined by the absolutely lovely, my sunshine, Shay Sawyer. How are you on this Thursday?
I'm cold, is what I am. New York is cold. But I'm also happy to go over this episode with this amazing, iconic, never been done before lady right next to me. Is it this way or is it?
Wait, this thing is so weird. It's the opposite way. Yeah, it's so weird because like we're pointing one way, but the camera's like, no, you're not. But yes, it was a pretty awesome NXT episode this week. And so we can jump right into it, actually. So the show starts off with my guy, because he's my guy, Carmelo Hayes, who, I was like, all right, Melo don't miss. He wasn't missing here, definitely wasn't missing, but he does wind up having a matchup with Axion, who I am, clicked way too fast, who I am actually becoming more and more of a fan of as each kind of match he has. I feel like I'm becoming more like I like him more and more. And so there were moments that I really enjoyed. I believe there was one moment Axion caught Melo with a diving crossbody into an armbar, and I was like, okay, all right. And then at one point, I think he even reversed the power bomb into like a triangle choke, which I thought was pretty awesome. I even thought I think it was a top rope springboard head scissors that was done that I really liked. But then Trick Williams, being who he is as a person, definitely did interfere in this, started to interfere in this matchup. And so even though I really, really enjoyed it, Melo did win this, and we, I guess, expected it when you saw it like again. But I do think we can see this again. I don't feel like this is like done, because they've really been every time they've kind of so far been into the they've been kind of showing up. But Carmelo does take the win. And I thought it was a really good way to kind of open up NXT. had somebody like Carmelo and Axion, who again, who's somebody who's legit. Just getting, I feel like he's doing more and more, and I like he's even getting more personality now, and I personally like that. But yeah, he did win this matchup, and that was the way we kicked off NXT. So, what are your thoughts about this matchup in the open?
I mean, the minute I knew the match was gonna happen, I was like, "Oh, this is about to be good. Oh, this is gonna be good." And that's exactly what it was. I literally love Axiom more and more every week. Like, he's just so good. He's just undeniable. Like, he just walks out and he's just better. That's it. He just is better. He just wrestles like things I never seen before. Like, this man is so so I'm just like, he needs his moment. He definitely needs his moment. Like, he needs to get one of those titles before he walks up out them doors, either North American or the main title or both. That man, he needs to, before he steps foot up out of here. Absolutely. And Trick Williams, mind your business. That's why you're gonna get beat up by Axiom now. You got beat up by Wesley because you don't know how to mind your business. And now Axiom is gonna get on you. You know what? I was about to say something else, but you know what? He gonna get you. So I have to say. And Carmelo, I mean, obviously, I feel like Carmelo should have won no matter what, but I guess it was a protective way of them having Axiom not look too bad by having Trick kind of get involved. So I'm willing to forgive it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree to Joseph's comment. I mean, Steph did say she wanted, she did mention the tribal chief, but let's not be rude now. But I do think he could definitely go to NXT, excuse me, to SmackDown or Raw, and it wouldn't be like we're like, what are you doing here? I do feel like he's like superstar material, honestly. Has the look, he can wrestle, he has good mic skills, and so that's all the stuff you want to translate over off of NXT, because it feels like the NXT people don't always translate well sometimes when you move them off of NXT. It's like, and it's as I don't want to say they're not comfortable, but we know sometimes, unfortunately, while we may love them in NXT, they get to you know, the main roster, if you want to call, even though they say it's the third brand, et cetera, and then it doesn't hit the same. So I can see it happening most definitely, but I thought it was a really solid open. I definitely did. And so after the matchup, Axion did dive into Trick, which was a little bit of payback. And so I was like, okay, you got your little situation handled somewhat there. And so after the matchup, Tony D'Angelo announced he was getting an NXT North American Championship match, and told Stacks to warn Dijak against interfering. And so I'm kind of like, all right, see what y'all gonna actually do with this matchup next week. I think it's the card for next week look pretty solid, honestly. But yeah, moving right in to the first women's action of the night, we have Zoe Stark versus Nikita Lyons. And so I feel like this was not as long as I guess I thought it would be, honestly. But there was I did like that Zoe really was like putting on the show. I felt like she made Nikita actually look a lot better. Personally, I feel like Nikita has, taking looks aside, because men, they sometimes you don't. Some of you fans, this is called a spade a spade. Some of you fans be doing shenanigans and ignoring certain things because somebody's pretty or thick. And no, let's be honest, okay? She's a pretty girl, but she has some things that need to be worked on. And so I felt like Zoe actually made her look a lot better. I thought Zoe's technical moments actually, like she was doing stuff in the entrance. So, so it was like she was ready to kind of build this whole little feud that they have going on. And I really like that she pretty much tried everything, even up to the point where she held on to the ropes to kind of get that win. And so the super heel stuff, I really think that to kind of, if they're going to make this a long-term feud, because I'm not sure, then they kind of got time. But if it's one of those matches where it might be like a stipulation kind of to like end the feud, that sometimes WWE would do to kind of end the feud. I can see that happening sometime in 2023, but I do think I was good with Zoe winning. Just like Yeah, well, I mean, you're nice about this. I'm gonna be, but I am happy Zoe because I do like Zoe, but Nikita has a lot of work, and I'm keep saying that. I know, yeah, we're fans, but sis, sometimes I was like, I know what this is, and so yeah, I was hyping it up, and then it's showing too much. Maybe if I didn't hype it up so much, I wouldn't have cared enough to say anything, but otherwise, yeah, Zoe did get off with the win. It was a solid matchup. I can definitely see this being like a longer feud. But what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I definitely saw the growth with Nikita in this match, and I'm hoping that's just like in general growth, or it's not just because she's in the ring with somebody like Zoe, who is obviously gonna take you to the limit and make you go to that. But I mean, I see what I saw, and I'm happy that I see the growth, and it makes me feel good that she's really really trying to make it work instead of just like coasting, because she definitely could coast if she wants to and get far with, as you say, fans sometimes they have tunnel vision sometimes. But she's trying to get better, so I can only respect that. And Zoe, yeah, she was definitely showing out. Like, I loved it. In terms of her doing the whole cheating to win, I figured that would be the case. I don't think that this match is going to end here. I think they might have a match at New Year's Evil, to be honest, personally.
Yeah, I definitely can see that happening out there too. Like I actually can see it going into 2023. Like as far as like it's not like ending like in January. I can see that happening. So I'm like okay, a little better, a little. And so after that, Cora Jade was giving an interview, and then she was attacked by Wendy Chu. And you know what? I was like, this is what you get, Cora, because some of you might have forgiven Cora for her shenanigans, but I have not. And so when you want to be backstabby kind of friend, one of those friends who's shady, I can't say I'm like, well, now this is what you get. This was is the universe saying, well, you messed up stuff for Roxanne before, and now Wendy's gonna keep messing with you, and I'm perfectly here for it because that's what you get. Like, be better, and I won't be like, maybe Wendy don't do this, but because you do shenanigans, I can't really say I feel bad for what Wendy did. And so I'm cool with it. But I guess what are your thoughts? I guess a quick little segment where Cora was saying what she was saying, but also got interrupted.
My only thing is I don't really, because if they go into another match, I feel like they're going to give it to Wendy, and then I'm like, I want to see Cora still do good, because I do see at some point that she could be a very important and possible person to take that title off of Roxanne. So she should be, built up. But then I'm thinking, I feel like maybe they'll give Roxanne a pretty decent reign. So it's like, maybe I guess this is good to kind of hold her over in the meantime. I mean, Roxanne, she needs to have an opponent for their next, PLE. So, I mean, something, they got to build something. I'm just waiting to see what direction they go. And then I can really assess if I'm okay with this Cora Wendy thing.
I hear you. It makes sense. I understand all that. And so we're going moving right along, we're going to the next match, which is a triple threat match and also some super awesome women's action with Toxic Attraction, Diamond Mine, and NXT Women's Tag Champions Casey Squared, as a loving Stephanie have always said. And so this had a lot of stuff going on. Honestly, I felt like there was a lot of moments of like, okay, all right. I did think there's a lot of spots. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of moments where it allowed every kind of the team to kind of do their thing and kind of showcase what they were good for. And so I'm kind of impartial depending on who it is with a spot fest necessarily. But I think there was a head scissors takedown that Katana did on Tatum, which I thought was pretty cool. And then I think there was like a Ivy and Tatum also did like this corkscrew senton on JC Jane, which I was like, okay, all right, I'm feeling it, and I thought it was really good, a really good solid between the group, honestly. But being the tag champions that KC Squared are, they do Kaden wound up reversing Ivy Now's Dragon Sleeper into a pin for the 3 count to keep their titles. And Katana made sure Tatum could not break it up. And that's the kind of teamwork you kind of want happening there. But I really enjoyed this. I thought I like that we're seeing Ivy and Tatum do more, which is good. We know what Toxic Attraction can do, and we kind of getting more and more about Casey Squared with their matches. And I've said before, I'm actually very happy that they kind of had the titles, because they kind of was just in the back for a while, like kind of really doing anything. And so I'm glad WWE is kind of allowing them to show why they were signed in the first place. And so I thought it was really good, but they did retain their titles. But I really enjoyed it. How do you feel about this matchup and the outcome?
I think the girls did their thing. I loved it. I really, I mean, I'm a little bit sad for Toxic Attraction because right now they're in shambles. Like, it's really shambles city for them. So I was like, oh, maybe I want them to win. Just give them something, because I feel so bad for what's like this predicament they're in right now. But I am okay with Katana and Kaden keeping the titles. I mean, they've fought so long for it. So I mean, they deserve to have a decent run with it, and to find out that they're so close to beating Toxic Attraction in days of holding the title. I feel like it hasn't even been that long, but apparently it has, and that's interesting. But I'm not too mad about it. I feel like Kaden and Katana have really paid their dues, and they've done the time to deserve a decent reign and to be the longest reigning if they do get to that point, which I feel like they probably will, personally. And in terms of Tatum is such a like under the radar, just getting better and better. Every time I see her in the ring, it's so under the radar. Like, nobody really talks about it, but I'm always like, oh man, she's getting so much better. Oh man, she's pulling out moves. So it was nice to see this. And also the way they protected Ivy. They have been protecting Ivy Niles since the minute she came into the company. Like, the way that she's always pinned, but it's always something. There's something going awry. It's never clean. And even with this, it was kind of similar to, something they do with those power type, wrestlers like Shayna Baszler. They did this with her and Athena at one point when she was in NXT. They did it with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor at one takeover. It's like she has her in the hold. Oh no, she's gonna get her. Nope. Flips her over, gets a quick pin. It doesn't really make Ivy look weak. It looks like, oh, you got one over on someone, but she had her dead to rights in her, finishing, her submission move. So I really like how they're protecting Ivy, and I think she will be a problem in the future when she goes solo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I definitely see that she could be definitely somebody super dominant, and she has like the kind of the style that you look for. But yeah, I'm gonna have let's I don't want to call them jobbers, but we're gonna call a spade again. There has been some shenanigans with them that I'm like, and again, you don't ever want people to lose their jobs, but there was quite a few times, I'm not gonna lie, when there was like firings, and I'm like, I'm honestly surprised they're still here, because they wasn't doing anything. And it's not even has nothing to do with their skill set. It was literally because they wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, oh, they kept them? They're not doing it. They're back here, like you see in the backstage segment, and they're there. And so I was actually surprised. And so it's like I said, it's good to see them being used, because while I can't say how the firing situation will look next year, because Triple H is the one kind of in control now, and so we don't know how when it's like the time of firings and people get let go. I don't know how that's gonna look next year. But a couple times I was like, well, damn, yeah, still I'm a little surprised. I'm not gonna lie, because y'all not if you just backstage being cute, like that's nice. But I can be backstage being cute if I don't gotta wrestle. So I was just confused by that, and so it's good to kind of see them actually wrestling. It's good to kind of see them doing stuff, and so yeah. Well, I mean, I did get it good on SmackDown. But I kind of want them to get their identity outside of Mandy Rose. I felt like we knew Toxic Attraction, but it was always like it was Mandy's thing. I felt like we knew Gigi and Jace was there, but I felt like it was like Mandy's thing. And so I kind of think like, while it's unfortunate, it's also one of those situations like, this will give them time to shine kind of as a tag team by themselves. And so I'm, thinking that I don't know if I would say they need to be up necessarily on SmackDown just yet. As we know, the tag team situation was kind of ridiculous on the main brand. It was kind of ridiculous. So I feel like if you want them to really kind of continue to kind of thrive, let them stay with NXT for a little bit. So I don't know if I will have them just yet. But I can see it. Not yet, but I can see it. Well, I damn, I didn't even know. You can't look at you dropping the facts, Joseph. Thank you. Yeah, it could very well in like 2 weeks pass, things. So we'll see. I'm for it, honestly. If they do, because again, there was a moment I wasn't sure what was happening with them, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not okay. And so after this matchup, there's a vignette highlighting Aurora. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it. Mince's love of the club life, nightlife, which I wasn't really sure what the point of that was. To be honest, I was just like, well, this is really random. It's like me showing some like MySpace when we have top 8, and I was like heading to clubs at like 21 and being told I didn't look 21 and all that stuff. I was just like, this is not random. Like, why are we okay? That's random. But and then later on, they also Ivy tells Tatum that they were getting better, and I liked again because I agree. I do think they're getting better in every matchup, and they're allowing them that, and that's awesome. And then we also had a little segment with Indus Sher kind of confronting the Creed brothers, telling them they need to show 100%. And I can't say I've been mad about that because, yeah, I mean, sometimes there are days when you might not give 100, but if you're trying to be top dogs, you got to give 100. And this in WWE world, but in particular with NXT, with the shenanigans that are going on in NXT, Shay, so it says there's no peace on NXT. I feel like you do got to give you 100% if you want things to kind of go the way you want. And so I was okay with those little, except for the one with, because I really wasn't sure what they were doing with the club life thing. I'm not gonna lie. But what were your thoughts on those little segments?
I love Oro. I think he has a great vibe just from the matches I've seen of him, not just in NXT but also in UK. I'm like, yeah, I feel your energy. I like you. This whole nightlife thing, I hate, and it is my biggest ick when someone says, I'm here, I'm not here for a good time, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time. Stop it. Stop saying it. It literally kills me. And Indus Sher, I guess they're going with the whole we're very honorable. That's cute. But we're gonna see what happens with this match because I'm done. It's been week after week. They're like, you're not ready. You're not ready. Are you ready? Because it seems like you won't ever want to wrestle. You just want to come around in your nice suits talking about, are you ready? Okay, DX, I've had it. So yeah, that's I'm done.
That's great. Not DX. I mean, you're right though. Because see, this is why I thought I can't be a wrestler because somebody got one too many times telling me, I'm like, first of all, what are you doing? And then here we are fighting. What are you doing? And this is why I'm not a wrestler because kayfabe, I'm gonna be like, pause. Excuse, let's run this back one more time. What are you doing in life right now? What's going on with you? And then come back when you tell me what you're doing, then you come back and tell me what I need to do better. Personally, this is why I'm not a wrestler because never talking me crazy like you don't know better. None of that. Oh, but you're right. he definitely is like doing the most. I'm like, all right, I guess. Let's not get cute. Like, what is your resume looking like right now? Empty. Emptiness. But yeah, let's get into the next segment, which wound up having Apollo Crews, kind of talking about he was supposed to be next in line for the NXT champ, even though he already lost, so I'm not really sure how that happens. But he did start the segment kind of putting over Roxanne championship win, and I enjoyed that. And then he kind of says he won a shot at the at the title, but he was interrupted by Carmelo, who kind of, I guess they kind of agreed to a future match with no date. But I was like, I mean, okay, I guess. Like, did you not just have a situation with like already? Did you not like had that match and lost? Like, I'm not understanding why every time people lose on NXT, they feel like, well, I can get another match. Like, what do you mean? Like, unless there's a kind of a rematch clause, which they don't seem to really be on NXT, why are you thinking, oh, I lost one time, let me come back next week and be like, I'm gonna, excuse me? That's how it works? You don't go to the back of the line? When you like, you got people who might not be kind enough to let you get on, come back in the line after they waited for like 50 years or everything, and now you're like, they're gonna make you go back to the back? Go to the back, Apollo. I was just like, I guess. I feel like if anything, I can understand Carmelo because this would be his first time going for the main title. He's been worrying about the North American Championship. But Paula's like, you said I just had one. Like, did I miss a week? I could have sworn you had a title after the fishing segments and the diner segments where you guys going fishing for no reason. He was doing all that, had me think of a traumatic memory. Go fishing talking about this, and then you still think you deserve a chance? No. That's not how this works. I'm about to start just making demands too. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a title shot, and I am work here. It's fine. If we can do this, I can do this too. That's it's just. I was like, no, this is how we do this. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes about Apollo, like his wrestling is amazing, but sometimes he says things and I'm not really feeling what he's saying on the mic. It's just not hitting the nerve it needs to hit. But yeah, what are your thoughts about that segment?
Yeah, the same thing. It wasn't hitting no nerves. First of all, I'm confused. You talking about this was your moment. So why didn't you take it, sis? Like, what are you talking about? This was your moment. It didn't give moment. And then you had a whole vision in the middle of the match. If you want to do all this, get your powers in check because they're popping up at the wrong time. It's very Phoebe Halliwell, just wrong time, wrong place, wrong time. Why would you get a vision that you're going to win right before you do a move? Regulate your powers. That's crazy. Yeah, but no, it's not your time, Apollo. I'm sorry. What Carmelo said, how is you going to be talking about this all the way at the back of the line? How could you possibly see it? Carmelo, you're absolutely right. Apollo, go beat somebody up on the fish pole. Go to the diner, beat them up, and get yourself to the front. It's done. I'm not trying to hear it. And when Carmelo beats you, because it will happen, y'all gonna have a match, then I really don't want to hear nothing. I really don't want to hear nothing from you. You better stay at the diner.
So you say get your powers in check, but true, okay? Because like if you're supposed to be with the supernatural, with spirits or something, whatever, so they don't know this is not the time. You didn't have meditation before. No, sometimes stressful things happen. I get it. I understand. You didn't say like, listen, let's not do these shenanigans during the match because you had that vision and clearly the vision was wrong. The vision board that you had in your mind clearly was incorrect. This is not a good vision board. The vision board needs to be reworked from the back of the line. Like, go to the back, rework that vision board, come back, with some better stuff. And maybe, but no, I was just like, I'm gonna stop doing these shenanigans. Why is every time somebody loses, can they come back? No. How did we get here? How did we? No. You lost. It was there clearly before he was like, oh well, I'm gonna get the next title, and then he didn't do anything. Like you didn't even do anything the first time. You just doing too many shenanigans. You can't just keep saying you're gonna have a chance. It's your time left. It's as John Cena say, time. Your time is in his case. It's not now. The time isn't now for him. He's gonna have to see himself to the back of the line, and then maybe meditate. And so when it's time for important matches, he's not, not being distracted because he was distracted. He was distracted. So then there's us. After that, we kind of have a little interview with Booker T and Roxanne Perez. And one of the things that stood out to me was she said that she bet on herself to succeed, and I appreciated that. When we all know like why Booker T have been doing shenanigans, being real bitter over these last few weeks. I liked the interview specifically because we knew that was his student, and she's been really kind of doing her thing in wrestling, and I love that for her. And then there was also another segment. Aegis, Malik, and Odyssey invites Ava Raine for a night on the town, but the Schism was like, you should not seek temporary highs, which I'm just like, all right, church cult group. Sounds really cult-like, but I guess. So what are your thoughts about those two segments?
Well, I love the whole Booker and Roxanne interview. I just thought it was so cute, adorable, and it's something about Roxanne, like, you can literally tell how much she loves wrestling. Like every time she comes out, you just see it in her eyes, how grateful and happy she is. And it just makes me want to root for her. So just, them talking about, her love and, where she is now, it was wholesome for me. I really liked that moment. In terms of Malik, Odyssey, and Idris, you about to get beat up next week. That's what I got from that whole interaction was you're about to get beat up. You are. And Ava's definitely going to have the most to do with it. That's what I got.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree. I was like, sis, you guys. Now, again, very cult-like to say temporary high. It's like, all right, fake Jesus. Like, why? I mean, I guess the cult is like, no, you're gonna just read their readings and teachings and do no fun things, less weird stuff, no fun stuff. And so that's what I kind of got from that. And I was just like, oh, all right, but yeah, the poor guys are definitely gonna get beat up now because I'm like, bro, like, how did y'all even decide this was the person that asked to go hang out? I was really confused by that part because it was just like, so of all the women on NXT, you could have asked. That might have not given you a weird response. This is who you asked, knowing the situation with her and her family, because apparently Dwayne is not there for her, or whatever. Must be that Black Adam stuff. I don't know. A lot of conspiracy going on with the Black Adam. Maybe Black Adam was too busy for him to check in on Part A brain. But clearly, she needed her other family. And so I'm like, if you already know the situation, why are you going to ask her of all people when she clearly don't even got a dad to check in on her to go clubbing? I feel like clearly priorities is not in the group right there. But yeah, they definitely gonna get beat up. I do feel next week they're gonna be laying there with a loss, and I'm like, see, this you guys get to do shenanigans. This is not the person. You could have asked all the other women on the show. Why ask her? I didn't understand why was she the choice to ask to go clubbing. It was so random. So random. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you guys. But yeah, here we are. But we I guess we'll see. I do think they're gonna be like laid up on the turnbuckle next week. So moving on to the next matchup, we have some more women's action with Indy Hartwell versus Elektra Lopez. And so this match is, it was alright. I did think Indy started off with this well, but I felt like this didn't really last too long, and I felt like even because Elektra do take some brass knuckles, very heelish type behavior. But she did take some brass knuckles and wind up using it to defeat Indy Hartwell. And so this was Indy's first loss in a little bit. So at least solo is her first solo loss in a little bit. And it was like, even with the fact that the brass knuckles was used, I felt like for me, it just didn't hit the way it could have. And it was a little odd for me because when you think of like situations like when William Regal used to always get on my nerves to take brass knuckles out of nowhere, he's gonna be tight. Like, I was ready to beat up William Regal a few times because I'm like, first of all, why are we doing this? Like, you put those raggedy brass knuckles back. Don't do this, okay? But at least I remember when he did it. I remembered when he did it, and so it's like with this, it was like, well, I guess you got the win, but it was just it didn't hit for me, and so that was unfortunate because I really I kind of was like, oh man, I kind of wish they would have. I don't know if it was just they didn't really gel well together, but it didn't hit as I wanted it to for me, and that was unfortunate. But what are your thoughts about this matchup?
Elektra, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like the match was very iffy for me as well. Like, I feel like they definitely are capable of more, but for some reason this match just wasn't really going that route. I do agree with the brass knuckles thing, but I also like that it's kind of like them kind of saying, look, she took some stuff from Santos. Even though she's separated from Santos, she's still pulling those same type of moves. I was like, okay, that's cute. But she needs to work on the impact effect like Santos did as well when he would do that. That's the only thing. I'm okay. I feel like I said this before, but I'm okay with Indy losing because I know that this loss is something that's building towards a shift in her, story and, her growth as a character. So I'm like, I'm willing to deal with this loss because I know that it's leading to something bigger. And Elektra needs the win because she's still, just back and she needs to be built up. And I need to see where it goes because right now I want Indy to succeed and I do want to see Elektra succeed. So this can't be. This cannot be. This is how I feel about Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. It's like, this can't be. This can't be. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, well, then she's definitely a tweener, a real one, because sometimes you can't really tell. I think she's definitely somebody, depending on the opponent, she may do more heel or face. But I really just didn't like this match, and I really wanted to. And thank you so much, Joseph, for putting that in your comment, because that is definitely the title of today's episode of Ladies Serving It Up. And so I appreciate that you put that in there. And as far as I would love for Evolution 2, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and I would be okay with an NXT, honestly, because they got some good women down there, and so I wouldn't mind it being an NXT pay-per-view. But who knows? I feel like, are we gonna? Is Triple H gonna do that? Because I'm not calling that man Papa H. I can kick off box. I would never. Hate my papa. And so, yeah. That's how I guess feel about that. But we will see and what they're gonna do with that. Yeah, well, I think she does. I think she needs more time. Honestly, I don't think she's ready for Raw yet. I don't, but I do like that she's getting better. And so we'll see. And so the next segment we had Wesley saying he's gonna kind of much accept all the challenges to his NXT North American Championship, that he's not gonna let go of his belt. And the first challenge is with Tony D'Angelo next week. So what is your thoughts about that?
I mean, child, I don't know. I'm just like, what is going on with this? I want to know where it's going. Is it going to be a triple threat? I feel like that's where we're going. Imagine a fatal 4-way and they just randomly put stacks in. I'm sorry, that would just kind of shake my brain, and I like it. I'm interested in it. Just do it to annoy Tony. To be honest, just do it.
You know what? I wouldn't mind that either. Just because that's what you get. That's what you get, Tony. So next up, we kind of had, once again, kind of some women action. And so Alpha Fire was supposed to come out and have a match up. It looked like we was about to really get some stuff happening. However, if you see at the corner little picture over here in the vicinity, Miss Isla Dawn, for some reason, who just can't leave stuff alone, popped right on out. It kind of did some shenanigans before the match even started, and so we never got the matchup. Instead, it was a brawl on the outside of the ring, and so yeah, it left Paul Alba once again kind of on the short end of the stick here, and Isla Dawn looking like she's on top, and I really don't know, like I was already a little bit annoyed with Isla in general coming in when Alba really could have had a chance. And I felt like, okay, she actually had a chance here. Here you go, ruining the one time where there was no interference, no real interference. And then you came interfering. And so I was already like kind of annoyed with her. But then it's like, okay, you even with the thing with Deadlight where she like, the thing with the referee. And I was like, I mean, I guess if that's what we're going to do today, I mean, if the referee all of a sudden has stomach elements. Like, women work with cramps all day, bro. Get it together. Like, he was like, oh, he was dying because he had like, and I'm like, bro, we get cramps. We do a lot, like, not as those ladies on the commercials was like sitting there with like doing all types of cartwheels, because nobody's doing that. That's pure lies. Nobody does this on day 1 and 2. Just let me call a spade a spade. But if we can work, you can work, referee. He was getting me mad. I was like, get it together, pull it together, and do your job. And look what happened. And so Isla Dawn got the win because of his shenanigans. And so I was like, I mean, I guess I'm already like irritated. I'm even more irritated. And so this irritated me even more with her, because I'm like, while I like that she has a different gimmick, I'm also like, but can you just come in there and not do shenanigans? Just fight her. And then why gotta be all this? And I can't even say like witchy stuff, because I'm not doing this random stuff to people. And yes, I did like her costume. I did. I mean, I wouldn't wear it because I don't think I have for that, but I did enjoy the costume. But she highly agitated my soul, because I'm just like, yo, stop, just pop it up all the time. I'm getting like super annoyed with that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that segment?
I loved it. I really do like Isla. Like I'm always into the otherworldly characters for the most part. Like I just love that extra element. And I just think it's cool because it's like it's not okay. I guess there is times when we do, and I guess I do appreciate that when it's just somebody is just like, I straight up don't like you and I just want to make your life difficult. Like she already beat her at deadline. She's still like, no, I'm not done. I don't care if you want to fight other people. I'm still not done beating your ass. And that's what Isla's on. So I like that. And yes, her outfit. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can just hear the bells. Like
no, her outfit was on point. She's just irritating me though, because I'm like, get it together, sis. Get it together. Stop these shenanigans. And so after that, there was a segment with Duck Duke Hudson, not Duck. Duke Hudson kind of stole the student's plaque to give to Andre Chase for Christmas, which is always just like, so you can't afford a present. Like, there's spots. You give somebody a gift card or get a meal, maybe a coffee, and maybe not Starbucks, because Starbucks can be kind of pricey, but like maybe like some Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's coffee, or like go to Five Below and get something. I don't know, bro, but why are we stealing plaques? Why are we stealing students' plaques? It's like, this is a student. College students already owe a lot of money. Why are we doing this? Why are we this? Shameful, shameful. But then we also had a segment with Hank Walker went to Drew Gallagher for advice, and he said he offered him a chance to attend his seminar next week. Not really sure how I feel about him having a seminar, because, like, I mean, I guess if you got time to do NXT seminars, like, not even that important to be having seminars. Personally, I'm not like looking for you in NXT, like, oh, I just can't wait to see what Drew Gulak's going to do today. So for a seminar, I mean, I don't understand it, but I guess if that's what Hank wants to do in his life and want to be nice and go to seminars, by all means, do you. So, what were your thoughts on those two segments?
So for Duke, I've been saying this man is up to something. He's treacherous. I see it in his eyes. I've seen it in his eyes. He's trying to do something. He's trying to mess up Chase U from the inside. Similar to what Elon is doing with Twitter. It's the same thing. He's ruining it from the inside out. Catch it. Andre, please catch it. And stop getting your ass beat on Raw. I don't know what that was about. Don't come back to it if you're not ready. Don't do that again. You making me look bad. I'm defending you. This is crazy. And then Hank, get your. I don't have it. I don't have the patience for you, Hank. And Drew, I think Drew is kind of doing something similar to what Timothy Thatcher was doing when he was around, like his little training sessions and building, other wrestlers. I feel like it's kind of the same thing. And I think he's scouting some wrestlers. He might bring them together. It might be a cute little group, which is ass beaters. Do it.
I mean, I'm okay with the ass beating, but I was just like, seminar, like, who are you? This is why I'm not, like, I feel like I would be kind of rude, and so here we are. I couldn't, because as soon as somebody was I would be like, wait, what? Like, you want to just assume I want to go there? You couldn't just tell me why I'm going to a seminar for you to give me some advice. I feel like I would feel a way about that. I don't want to waste my time no damn seminar. And see, this is why I'm not a wrestler, guys. This is why it's not meant for me to do wrestling, because no, we're not doing that. I would question that. Why is this? I ask you advice and you go, you know what? Come to my seminar. How does this help me, bro? How does this help me? At the moment. So yeah, here we are with those apples, those shenanigans. And so next up, we have some NXT tag team action for championship belts between Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, going against the New Day, who are currently the NXT tag champions. And so I actually really enjoyed this matchup. I thought there was like a good, moment. Because I think even before the matchup, it was like Pretty Deadly kind of wanted the titles, a rematch, whatever, and it was like all this stuff involved in that, and even to the point where I just Booker T kind of annoyed me also on commentary, because it's like, as I told him already, and not that he's heard me when I said I told him, because I didn't tell him directly, but as I said, and I'm hoping the universe can mind power Professor Exit to him, stop being bitter, my guy. Like, why are you bitter? Don't be bitter. I literally said, you be better, not bitter. Why are you bitter? Because New Day's past you. Because they're great. And they're great being happy great. You being petty great, being petty, and now you're not looking so great right now. Do better. And so I was kind of mad that he was like doing all the most on the match. It kind of took it. I felt like in a way, it was taken away from the match, because I'm like, okay, why are we doing this? But I felt like I love the New Day, but to me, I feel like NXT kind of rejuvenated them a bit. I feel like they were even doing even more cool, amazing things in this matchup. But even with it's kind of seeing them kind of doing their stuff, and I don't know how long they'll be champions for, but I like it. We had Kofi do a trouble in Paradise to Josh Briggs, and then Xavier does a rope walk elbow drop to retain tag titles, and the New Day is still champions. So what are your thoughts on that matchup?
I mean, that match was a banger and a half. Like, damn. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about Briggs and Jensen. Like, they are really talented. Like, they really bring it in the ring. Like, yes, they play around a lot and they do a whole. To be honest, they kind of remind me of NXT's version of APA. They just be around. They really just be around. They be like, let's drink, like, let's just party, let's have a good time, let's make a joke. But we can also beat some people up if we want to, if we so choose. I like that. Now, my issue is with Jensen. Sir, stop telling her. And you know what? I like to speak about that. Me and Brooks, we had a nice back and forth on Twitter, and I told him nicely. Okay, it wasn't nice at first, but I said, stop telling everybody's business. I said it nicely though. And he said that he would stop. So we're gonna see if we see some growth in this next episode. If you are talking, Brooks, I will have to ask you what happened, because we discussed this. And I told you to wear Kiana's shirt because he wasn't wearing it. I said, wear the shirt and stop telling Fallon's business. So we will see where that goes, because he is putting Fallon's bar in shambles dealing with Kiana. But great match. I'm glad that the New Day won. Obviously, I feel like I agree about the whole they are rejuvenated from NXT and this like whole run. But also, I feel like they're helpful, as you know, a lot of websites did report. NXT got a huge boost in ratings, so obviously it's a mutually beneficial thing that's going on between the New Day. Not saying it's only the New Day that made it, but I feel like that obviously they had something to do with it. So I'm really happy for New Day right now, and because at first I wasn't so on board, because I'm like, if they're not going to stay, I don't want it. But if they're staying, I'm so for it, because I've always been a fan of New Day. So great match on both ends. Right person won. It's all good. I love it. Great. And give Pretty Deadly a damn title shot again. Do it and stop, because they asking for unreasonable things that they know that they cannot get their hands on, so they can get this title shot. It is dead wrong, and they know it.
It is very ridiculous. It is. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm doing the most. I did laugh though, but they're doing the most for no reason. But yes, he's, and this is not to disrespect anything he has done. He's clearly have done some things, but it's like, just stop. It's a bitter, like your old bitter lady who like have like 10 cats, and just like a man that scorned you like 10 years ago, and you never got over it, and so you just look at all the other happy people angrily. That is what Booker T is. I do not like it. Be better, okay? Like I have to get my shirt made, because I feel like now I have to wear this. So like, Booker T, take notes. Take notes. Yeah, I think as far as mentioning with the bar, because that is a match happening next week between Fallon and Kiana for the rights to the bar. And I'm like, see, if you're not doing, like, maybe if you wasn't doing these shenanigans, we won't even have this match. I do think that it's going to be a good one, but it's just like, if you just would have kept quiet, we wouldn't even have to worry about all of this. Like, you know how tight I would be as like, you got me in some shit for your nonsense, and I got to do extra work. I got to do extra for something that's mine. I feel like we would have to fight after this. Like, I'll do the match, but then we fight, and also you better hope I'm your friend afterwards. Okay, you better hope we fight. Okay, you better hope. I got time for those shenanigans. Okay, I'm just saying. But well, we'll see. I do think again it will be solid. And Kiana is, as we said, she impressed me at Deadline a lot actually, and so I think it's going to be a really good matchup. But yeah, I just feel like, he needs to get it together, as you said, because like why are you pillow talking with nothing happened yet? Like, how are you doing that already and nothing happened? Like, you're not even there, you already yapping. What you gonna do when something if something gets further? You gonna really be chatting. You're gonna be real chatty patty. Because like, why are you chatting so much? Do too much chatting. They say, well, women talk a lot. I'm telling you, that's a whole bunch of nonsense. Men love chat. Chatty patties. He's being a chatty patty. He needs to stop. Okay? God, poor Fallon doing this extra work. Me and him will have to call friendship here, because no, too much work. And so afterwards, we have this segment with Grayson Waller and Braun Breaker. And so Grayson did demand that Braun give him his NXT Championship match, since, he did win. Unfortunately, he won that match. But Braun didn't answer right away. And then Grayson wound up mocking him. And he did a spear to him. Unfortunately, Grayson was kind of prepared and had a steel plate under his jacket, and so poor Braun kind of laid there, on the floor, all beat up and everything, while Grayson was holding this belt. And now I just need Grayson to not do the shenanigans. If you're gonna call people out, and you're gonna do all this calling people out, where you're going to go these things, but then you have a plate behind you. And while I do know it's a little reference to Goldberg and Bret Hart, but everybody knows how I feel about Goldberg. And so that made me more irritated, because don't you be doing stuff that Goldberg did. Don't do that. Goldberg sucks. Why even put that negativity here on a Tuesday? Now I'm feeling negative. Okay, if you would have just I understand, but no, because now I'm feeling negativity about this whole segment. Why are you even doing any odes to Goldberg? He cannot wrestle. There's no odes. Okay? See, thank you. Cause you just no. I just Bret Hart, is a fantastic wrestler and all, but I didn't understand why he did all that. At least in the case with Bret Hart. Bret Hart can, wrestle well enough that it's like, okay, well, I guess we can do this for somebody named Goldberg who don't last in matches. I guess this is what you would do. But I was kind of annoyed, because I was just like, why put that negative? Like, now I'm feeling negative. Okay, now I'm not happy because you put Goldberg back into my week. I thought we left Goldberg in the past. Stop bringing up Goldberg. I don't care about his spears. I don't care. He could not wrestle. He can have the best spear. That goes the motions when you can't wrestle. I don't care what your spear looks like. I can spear too in that case. If he can wrestle, I can spear. Pure nonsense. And so I know. So I unfortunately was highly annoyed, because I'm like, why are we doing this? And then the fact that you're going to call people out and then you can't even do it well. And as Joseph said, he didn't sell it. I was like, you didn't even give a moment to us. And like, oh, what happened? It was just like, oh, surprise. Like, when kids say they have a surprise and tell you 2 seconds later. That's what happened in that segment. And so I was annoyed. And so it could have been good, but then I thought about Goldberg and I got annoyed. And then I was like, see, well, now I'm even more annoyed, and I hope Broad kick your ass, because how dare you bring Goldberg into my week? Now I feel this heavy cloud of disgust over my week, because you do shenanigans. But what are your thoughts on this segment and the end, because as it was the end of NXT?
Grayson, boy, with them tight white jeans he had on, they were so tight. I'm surprised Braun didn't rip his jeans when he hit him. I don't care. Impact should have ripped them pants right up, but somehow they took together. So I want to know what brand it is, actually, if you could let me know, Grayson. I mean, I expect Grayson to do foolish things like this. He does this all the time. But and for him to feel like he really did something, it's like, you really didn't do nothing, because, babe, you can't bring this in the ring when you have the match. You know this, right? I hope you know it. You're going to have bare skin when you in that match. No, nothing. So you didn't really prove nothing. Okay, you knocked Braun out, but not really. The plate knocked him out, not you. And Braun really just laid there. Shout out to you, Braun, because I really was so confused. I'm like, why are you laying there? Get up. Get up, Braun. You got him. He just laying there. It was sick. I feel like this will be a cute match, though. I can't wait to see it. I'm just like, Grayson, shut up. I want him to actually already do the match so we can stop hearing him, because he's going to keep every week with this, just terrorizing, walking around the whole building, annoying everybody with them tight pants on. Sit down. Are you not chafing? Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, Braun, take care of this man. Great episode of NXT, as always.
Yeah, the chafing part, because they were a little tight. I'm like, I mean, I guess if it works for you, I guess we can do that. If that makes you feel good. But yes, it was a solid episode of NXT. I enjoyed it. I saw the little moments that I was like, why are we here? What's going on? I enjoyed it. And so that is the end of NXT for this week. It was pretty solid. As I said, we will not be here next week, the week after Christmas. Just because it is holidays and I have a lot of stuff happening, and so we will not be here. And so we do want to wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you guys have like super awesome, couple of days leading up into Christmas, with your family and loved ones and all that good stuff. I hope it's everything you guys want it to be. But you, Shay, tell everybody where they can find you and what you have going on.
Yes. Well, you can actually find me on a UPR award show in a few minutes, 8 o'clock, Unpopular Review. You can also catch me on Tuesday for another NXT view on Unpopular Review with Bad Guy Jack. That's directly after the show. Those are my chaotic thoughts right after. This is my settled thoughts right now. And then every Monday, you can catch a new episode of The Big Pop Theory with me and Bad Guy Jack as we discuss all current events of wrestling and sometimes the pop girlies if we have to.
Cool. Also, Wilson, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate your commentary, for always being here. It's much appreciated. But yes, as for me, you can find me on most social media and Cat We Trust. If you're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, the E is a 3. I know I told you guys it's been really like hectic. It honestly has been. It's been a crazy week. But I'm trying to get the pedal from LA up. It's just been so hectic. I have no time. And then my fridge went down, and so there's a whole bunch of other nonsense. And so, yeah, I had no time to really get it together. But it will be up. I'm trying to get it up before Christmas. Fingers crossed. And I'm trying to do some little things. I'm going to probably do a 2022 recap because I've actually had some kind of awesome things outside of the last week or so. Had some awesome things happen in 2022. It's been pretty cool, pretty awesome. Had some awesome opportunities and stuff. And so I will be doing a little recap on my channel. I don't think I'm going to do a live, but I will probably have it on a YouTube video posted up. And as always, you guys can definitely check out the Women's Wrestling Talk website at www.talkpod.com, which has all the articles, an article every day, I think almost every day, telling news, top 5s, all types of stuff. And we do have a top 25 of women coming up as well on the website. So definitely go check that out. We have a show almost every day of the week. So if whatever your flavor is, you like Raw, Dynamite, Impact, whatever it is that you like, we are on every day for the most part on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, kind of getting it out there. So definitely come check that out and subscribe to get all the notifications. And as always, again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me and Shay. It's been a pleasure. As far as me and Shay, we'll see you in January 2023. I will see you in general in 2023 as I'm not doing any shows next week. So happy New Year. I'm hoping again everything is full of light, love, and happiness. And until next time, guys, we will catch you in 2023.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.